create a monochromatic painting, you only need one color. For example, red and blue are different colors, but dark blue and light blue are not. These are just values of the same color, light, middle, and dark values. As I mentioned in my video about the difference between the different art mediums, depending on the amount of water you mix into your watercolor paint, the lighter or darker you can make the value of the specific color. So to create a monochromatic painting, I would suggest to pick one color and then just practice with it first. Since I wanted to paint a fall scenery, I decided to test out different brown shades to see what I can get out of them before I decide on one, but you can of course use any color of your choice. So first you can use just a tiny amount of water to activate the paint in your mixing palette and then apply it to the paper. And then you can use either a brush or a pipette and then add a few drops of water into the paint. Now here I added 2 or 3 drops each time to make the value lighter and lighter. Don't worry if you don't have watercolors in tubes, I will cover the pans in the actual painting later. As you can see, the more water I add to the paint, the lighter it gets. You can create these charts for multiple colors to see how the other values look, because sometimes similar colors look almost the same when they are dark, but once you add lots of water, you can discover that some colors have certain undertones such as red, blue, or more yellow. But since in watercolors you usually work from light to dark, let's create the same chart but this time from light to dark. Here I used a different brown color and added just a tiny amount of paint into my mixing palette and then added a ton of water to create a light value. And to make the value darker and darker, you can now load up the brush with a little bit of paint and then add it to the water mixture. From here, just repeat the steps. Add more and more paint into the mixture and add it to your chart. After some time, you will get the feel for how much or how little water you need to create the desired value. For my painting, I decided to go for a more gold brown color because I wanted to have a color that has a more yellow and red undertone because I wanted to capture this warm golden light of the fall season. Here I used watercolor in a pan and create a chart first just to experiment and to just get the feel for the paint. I loaded up the brush with water, a little bit of paint, and then added it to the mixing palette. And then I added a lot of water to the palette to create a light value. From here, I repeated the same steps as shown in the beginning. I added more and more paint to the same mixture to create some more lighter values, but also to create the middle and the darker values. With this exercise, you don't need to be super accurate with the amount of paint or water you add, it's just to get the feel for how much or how little paint or water you should use to create the desired value.